What's going on, guys? We're here talking Zack Snyder's Justice League in full spoiler details. Now, I would have done this not live because then we could have just not discussed it live and in the chat and all sorts of stuff. But that's why we are doing it live, is so I could hear you guys and hear your guys' thoughts and discuss it. And that way I could actually have a roundtable of great people joining me today to talk about the Snyder Cut, because this is kind of an event. For one time, every time DC gets smushed over Marvel, and as much as I really like that first episode of The Falcon and Winter Soldier, feels like everyone's still talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League. My friend who is not into this texted me and said, "What is this?" And I explained it, and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to watch it." And they watched it, and they're not into this stuff. So it's insane to me, but I'm going to start bringing in my guests because I created my own Justice League for this morning. And today, my next, you know him, you love him.
Ooh,
it's
I'm
Ren.
first.
How you doing, Ren?
I'm good, brother. Thank you for having me. Excited to talk about Snyder Cut. And I just noticed on the background image that Superman is squinting. Can he not look directly at the sun?
No, he
Okay.
needs his sunglasses,
Okay.
his sunglasses.
Yeah. Okay.
And next we have Amanda. How are you?
Hey, thanks for having me. I am so excited to discuss this film. I absolutely loved it.
Hell yes. Yes. We have, looks like he's now the Green Lantern, Leo.
What up, crew? Man, I'm here with the boys from the night table, geeks of the round table.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So excited to chat with you guys about Zack Snyder's Justice League. Y'all's a good movie. Ready to chat?
Yeah. Next we have Christian, the infamous hater of everything DC.
What's going on, everyone?
All right, and of course we have Chris from 3C. How are you doing, man?
Hey, thank you guys for having me on. Sorry I was late. I just wanted to know I was the late one.
No, it's all
No,
good.
I was gonna be the light one.
Honestly, though, technically I was the late one. I literally woke up 10 minutes ago, and I was like, we got to get this going. Thank God I set this up the night before. But thank you guys so much for joining me. This is my Justice League for today. We have a great round of people. So before we get started, before we get to the general thoughts, I want to go around and ask everyone who's their favorite DC character. It could be someone from this Justice League film, or it could just be in general someone who's underrated that you think no one talks about. So Ren, who's yours?
In all of DC, not just this universe or movie?
Yeah, just
Batman.
DC. Batman.
I'm a Batman guy.
All right. What about you, Amanda?
Oh, I'm gonna go with my girl, the Black Canary. I love her so much, and I was so happy about Birds of Prey. So I hope she gets her own. Yeah, I hope she gets her own standalone very soon. So,
Leo.
I'm gonna go with my people who've been mistreated in the media, in the DCEU media since the start. Green Lanterns, the entire corpse. I'm talking Hal Jordan, John Stewart, each and every lantern you could think of. Love them.
Perfect. And Christian?
I'm gonna go with Nightwing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
All right. I dig it. And Chris, what about you?
I was gonna go Green Lantern, then they said Green Lantern. I was like, okay, I gotta be different. Then I was gonna say Nightwing, then they said Nightwing. I was like, I gotta really be different. If we're going based off the Justice League cartoon, that's what I grew up watching, Justice League Unlimited. I'll go with the Flash.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Let me go with that. I want to be a little bit different. No one said Superman here. Kind of crazy, but I want to be really different.
My name is Superman.
Yeah, I guess so. But to be honest with you guys, growing up, Martian Manhunter was always my favorite. I love that character in the animated show. I love that character in the comics. Didn't love him in Supergirl, but whatever. So that's that. So guys, we're going to jump into this spoiler review right now. If you have not seen Zack Snyder's Justice League and you're watching this on the replay, you should probably back out right now. Or if you're catching us right now, well, definitely don't want to watch this. We are going to get into spoilers about this entire film. There's a lot to talk about. There's 4 hours of Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I don't know about you guys. I sat through the whole 4 hours. Did any of you guys have to pause it or?
No. I got the butt end of it. Did everyone here get early screeners? When did you guys watch it?
I watched it Sunday, the day before the
Yeah, a week ago.
Yeah, I watched it last Saturday.
Okay, I watched it on Monday, the day the reviews came out, but at night. And what had happened was I was waiting for my screener, and Microsoft had some major malfunction thing.
yeah, I saw that.
So I actually started the movie at 11 p.m. my time, and watched the entire thing till 3:30 basically.
Whoa.
And that's how I knew I really liked it, because I didn't have to break. I didn't fall asleep. I was into it the entire time. So that was a testament for me.
And dude, I feel that, because for me, when I watched it, it was 7 o'clock at night, and I'm like, okay, I also got to do a review after this. I got to get this stuff ready. So, you know, I was sitting there. I'm like, man, I really hope I can get through this. And it felt like 2 hours for me personally. Yeah. I don't know about you guys. Like, I know some people felt like, oh God, but for me, it felt like 2 hours. You know, I didn't even check the time. I paused it once to go to the bathroom, and that was like right before the last action scene. I was like, okay, I know where this is kind of going now. I'm gonna run to the bathroom and go. All right, so let's kind of go around. I want to get everyone's general thoughts and ask, you know, overall, what do you think of the movie? So, Ren, let's start with you.
So I was pleasantly, not surprised, but I just had a blast throughout the entire 4 hours. When I say it did feel like 4 hours, but I wanted every single second of those 4 hours. It's expanded on the story, on the characters. It gives them weight and gives them time for the story to be processed by the characters, if that makes any sense. It allows us time to be spent with these characters and get to know them, not only their superhero counterparts, but on a human level, and allows the dynamics to develop even within the film. So I was extremely surprised at how well the film handled its characters, not only Batman, but most importantly Cyborg. Back in 2017, I enjoyed the movie for what it was, with all its flaws, and Cyborg was someone I said at the time, you could take him out of the movie and would make a difference. I still stand by that, but in this film, he's the very heart and soul of the film. My boy Superman, woo! My God. As soon as they resurrect him, I didn't care about anyone else. I just wanted to see Superman when he comes in. Woo! He kicks all the ass. And basically, I was just very, very happy with every single one of the big moments in this film.
Awesome. Amanda, what about you?
I'm going to be honest with you. I cried. I legit cried when I started watching this, seeing like Zack Snyder film and then directed by Zack Snyder and then all of that. The beginning, just the intro was so much better right off the bat. And then the action scenes were like unreal. I was screaming at the television. Like, it was amazing. But it's just, I feel like a huge weight has been lifted after watching this film, just because like, I know many of us have campaigned from 2017 to like, you know, get the cut. So it was very emotional just to see that these characters, you know, got some justice for their backstories and all of that. And like Ren said, especially with Cyborg, because he is the heart of the league, and we got to see that. So I was really happy about how things turned out, and they're kind of like a family now, and they did that within 4 hours, and I really love seeing that on screen, and it sets up so many different things, which we're hopefully gonna get. But anyways, I really enjoyed this as a whole, and I sat through the like full 4 hours just beaming with joy.
Yeah, no, and you said something, you said the movement of this, and I remember, and I don't know if everyone else feels this way, when the movement started kicking off, I said, I think it'll be like the Donner Cut. We'll get it years later. Years later. I don't even know if it'll be fully complete, but we'll get some sort of version of it. But I think it was 2019 Comic-Con when I saw release the Snyder Cut everywhere. I mean, you walked around every single corner. It was there. Marketed every single place. It was a big topic of discussion. And part of me inside my gut said, you know, if Warner Brothers was here, I think today would be the day they're announcing it. But it seems like they're not. So from then on, I kind of had that same thought that this is going to happen. And I remember, I think it was, I want to say later that year, I heard rumblings that Warner Brothers and Zack were having a conversation about it. And I remember I had to go to this critics group meeting in Arizona, and I was sitting in my car. I'm like, God, they're going to announce it while I'm fucking in there. They're going to announce it while I'm in there. I'm going to be pissed because I want to be doing a review. Thankfully, they didn't. You know, it was a couple months later. And I would have rather had a couple months later, and then they're like, hey, it's coming out in 6 months. So be ready. So, but yeah, let's go to you, Leo. What about you?
So the entire time I was watching this movie, I kept asking myself the question, how did Joss Whedon cut this out? This movie has so many fantastic character moments that really build on these characters and actually get us attached to them and really, really loving them, especially Cyborg. I mean, so many scenes were cut from Cyborg, but just like Ren and Amanda both said, he is the heart of this film. So it was great to get these extended character moments and to get characters that feel a little bit more enjoyable, but visually incredibly stunning. I mean, the colors are way better.
Yeah.
Everything's just like so much more improved, and it's really a fantastic film. Look, 4 hours felt like 1.5 or 2 for me. The intro alone was great. I mean, just a great film top to bottom. I really enjoyed it. And guys, We got the history lesson scene like we should have gotten it with a Green Lantern. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh man, Darkseid was great. Steppenwolf's design was way better. I mean, it's a step up in every sense of the word from the 2017 version.
No, I agree with you and pretty much everything that everyone said. And I think that's the big thing is like how much of an improvement. And I'm sure all of us sat there and were like, why the hell did you cut this out? Like, why did you cut this out? Or this scene specifically, or this one? It just felt like you were doing it to do it. And I personally never... There's a lot to it. I was just very surprised, you know? So, I don't know. Chris, what about you? General thoughts, overall feelings on this whole thing?
Yeah, really happy with it. I was never a campaigner of the Snyder Cut because not because of anything against Snyder or anything like that. I just really thought it would never happen. I thought, you know, even with like everything that went down with Justice League and how they kind of lost money on it, and it was like supposed to be their biggest movie and it turned out to be their least money makers. Like, why would they spend the money to make another one of those that I thought would be pretty much similar with like maybe a few new scenes here and there, but the surprise I had when watching it, and it's hard to call it, you know, a whole new movie because the skeleton of the movie is still there. You know, the basic plot points is gather the mother boxes, resurrect Superman, fight Steppenwolf at the end. There you go. And it just felt so different. I'm so never watching the Joss Whedon cut ever again.
No,
and it just feels, when the movie ends and then, like, you have the Flash when he's doing that run and he's smiling really hard and he's like running off. It's just kind of like how I felt like, wow, like I live in a world where we have a great Avengers movie and a great Justice League movie. Like, I think that's all fans ever really want out there. And so even with the 4-hour runtime, I watched it a second time and I thought I was like, oh, it's great, but it's probably something I watch maybe once every 5 years just because of how long it is. But I wanted to watch it again immediately. So I was very happy with the movie.
Same here, man. I've seen it 3 times at this point. I watched it the next day straight through. And I don't know if any of you guys have seen it on HBO Max yet. You know, when you get a screener,
I want to complain about that too.
The quality is
I don't get why. Wouldn't they want it to be better for...
Who does that all the time?
It was literally the reverse for me. So my screener was like, I was in shock. I was like, oh my God, it looks so good. And then I watched it on HBO Max and I'm like, oh. I was like, damn, like, why was it the reverse? But it was just weird for me.
Well, and that happens. A lot of these screener sites don't run the best, or they don't push it through. So I definitely was like, oh, this is way better, you know, because some of the colors and stuff, like, that's why, like, in a lot of my reviews when I do a screener, I don't talk about the color palette and stuff because the screeners can mess that up quite a bit. But yes, Chris, absolutely. All right. The person who absolutely hates everything DCEU, Christian.
All right, guys, we're going to talk about Joss Whedon's Justice League here. Right here.
You have it on DVD.
Why though?
Well, okay, so I didn't want to hate this movie going in. It was more of just. I like going into a movie with like an open mind, and like I've talked to Amanda about this. It's like my logic was I wasn't a fan of BVS. You see this? We're gonna get that out of here. So
How
wasn't there? I was not.
He did this all on purpose.
I actually do agree with him on BVS. I'm not a big fan of that one either.
Really?
And like the theatrical version of BVS came out. I was like, okay, this killed my joy. Saw the Ultimate Edition. I was like, it's a little bit better, but not that much. So when it came to Zack Snyder's Justice League, I was like, okay, how much of this film is actually going to, you know, wow me? And I mean, it really did. I mean, I felt like the 4 hours flew by. I enjoyed it. I gave it like a B+ overall. It's crazy how, I mean, for a time there, for a few years, I was kind of tired of hearing about Snyder Cut, just because like it just seemed like a running joke at that point, like the whole "we live in a society" type meme. But I was thoroughly enjoyed. I've seen it twice. I saw it twice on the same day. I watched it by myself on this past Sunday, and then I invited one of my friends to come over, and he wanted to see it, so we watched it again. and he was like blown away. So
he's sharing screeners, guys. He's sharing screeners with his friends.
Oh no, he just it was on his app earlier.
Hey,
He watched
I
it through Tom and
invited
Jerry.
a friend over. Thank you very much. Warner Brothers, if you're listening, don't cut my check.
No, but you know what? You say that, and it's really crazy. So, like, this is the thing. My dad's going to start watching the DCU for the first time. And I have no idea if I want him to even watch the Whedon cut at this point.
No, don't.
Because
I feel like
and
it's
that,
fun just to go back and be like, look
Well,
how bad this movie
so
is.
that's what I was thinking. If you can make him go back and watch it, not first, because I think if I make him watch it first, he'll be like, "This is the same freaking movie." But if I make him watch the 4 hours first, which he's not gonna be able to sit through for 4 hours, I was surprised he even did it for Endgame, and I think he only did it for Endgame because we were like, we have to finish this tonight. Like we can't do nothing. So my general thoughts, I absolutely fucking loved it. Point blank loved it. I went into this thinking I'm gonna really like it. I checked my expectations at the door though, because BVS's original edition I hated. That was the most disappointed I ever felt in theaters. But then my friend got me the Ultimate Edition. He said, you need to watch it. So I watched it, and I loved it. I loved it. And I love Man of Steel. And those have both become films that I absolutely love to rewatch. So, but again, skeptical. What I will say is that I think this is one of my favorite comic book films of all time. You might not agree, and that's totally fine with me. Because, you know, maybe you had nitpicks and stuff. But there are things in here that I just wanted to always see in my whole life. The big thing for me, though, is it felt like this is Snyder's swan song to everything. It's like he took all of his complaints from Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and kind of took it to heart and really much fixed it. I think literally any issue you had in those two films are kind of fixed in this one. And overall, I do think that there is an hour and maybe an hour and 20 minutes you could cut out of the film. Honestly, yeah. But if you got screwed over and they say you can do whatever you want, you're going to do whatever you want. You're going to add whatever you want. I don't think the epilogue was needed, which we'll talk about. I don't think, well, not the whole epilogue, but the last two final scenes were not needed. But there's little things you could easily take out. But since this is Zack Snyder's, that's what it's called, Zack Snyder's Justice League, not Zack Snyder and Warner Brothers Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League. This is pure in, pure out, his entire film until we see Army of the Dead, which I'm sure will entirely be his film as well, because everything he said with Netflix, we all know how Netflix is. They work everything together. So, original cut of Justice League. Let's speak about this thing, this monster. Starting with you, Ren. We'll start with Christian this time. How did you feel walking out of the theater when you talked
got
about
the copy ready?
I got a copy. I got the physical and the digital. Anyone want a digital code? It's right now.
Nope.
We're good.
Let's give it away on the air.
You're right. So I actually never saw Justice League, the 2017 version, because I got in trouble for calling it the original on Twitter the other day. They're like, well, it's definitely not the original.
Ooh.
Like, okay, I get it. Like, the one that came first. So I never saw it in theaters. It was like, at least I saw it in 2018. Bought it during Best Buy's kind of like holiday sale during Black Friday. It was $10. My buddy Devin, he was like, it's pretty bad. I'm like, well, I'll pick it up for $10. Like, how bad could it be? And like, I knew certain things that had happened, but I was like, I mean, that was like, okay, like it was a little hokey. But like when it first came out in theaters, I was like, wait, we've only gotten like a Superman movie, and I think BVS was out by then.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yes.
Okay, like where's Cyborg? Where's the Flash, Aquaman? I was so confused because, you know, Marvel was doing their thing. And I don't know, like it was, I mean, like I'll go back and watch it just for like shits and giggles. Like if I'm like drunk or something one night, I don't know, just for like random fun. But I mean, I'm probably going to keep it just to have it, but
you'll be able to resell it one day when the whole fan base turns and they're like, oh, this is the actual cut, just like how we all know. So
yeah, like I mean, it was all right. I mean, it's pretty bad, but yeah.
Chris, what about you?
For that cut, I think I was blinded because I was disappointed with the theatrical cut of Batman vs. Superman. I think a lot of people forget how crazy it was that in Superman's second outing in a film, they kill him off, they bring in Doomsday. I still wasn't completely on board with Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, as this like crazy Mark Zuckerberg type CEO. And I think when we got the Justice League, I think just a refreshing different look is what like let me think. I was like, oh, I guess I like this movie because it's the Justice League, getting to see all these characters are coming together, and I was blinded by it. To now, like just seeing the Snyder Cut, you just see the huge differences in there that I can't believe I actually had some enjoyment with the 2017 version. But I would lie if I say I didn't come out like, you know what, I kind of like that better. I think that was all right. I wouldn't mind seeing more of this. But now I definitely look back and I go, how did this happen?
Yeah. Leo?
First of all, I gotta tease Christian. You gonna throw Batman versus Superman, but not Justice League? Man, what are we doing here?
I'm using this as a prop. Everything is a prop.
Well, that can go tossed right back where BBS went.
I don't even know where it went. It's like somewhere have a quarter tossed by
It broke. Probably broke. He wouldn't care.
I gotta echo the sentiments though of Chris and Christian. I was pretty disappointed in that 2017 or in the BVS. I'm sorry, backing up a little bit. I was pretty disappointed in the theatrical cut of BVS. Like I remember going and I had a Batman shirt on, just super hyped up. And then when I saw it, I thought, what a mess. I wasn't really a fan of what I ended up seeing in the theatrical version until later on we got the Ultimate, and I really liked that a lot more. After Justice League, you guys, I mean, I was in that theater with my arms folded. Like, did we really just see this? Like, is it for real? The colors looked hokey. The Aqua Bro stuff was weird. I mean, it was just not the Justice League that I had actually expected. So, I don't know. I was walking out disappointed, and I really wanted to be happy. But, man, isn't that the same year that Thor Ragnarok came out? Didn't that come out in 2017? I mean, it's like, gosh, what a way to just, like,
it came out like a couple weeks.
A couple weeks before. So I was like, wow, we're coming off of Thor Ragnarok. That energy was there, ready for the next, to flip from Marvel to DC. And then you get done with that and you realize how disappointing it was. So I wasn't a huge campaigner for the Snyder Cut, but when it happened, definitely excited. This was a much better movie. So, man, 2017, what are you doing? What are you doing, bro?
There's two funny things with this. So BVS, imagine it came out on my birthday. And I invited like 10 people to go see this damn movie.
Oh, man.
And can you imagine me being the one like, there was good moments to it, guys. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I could see the good thing. And like all my friends like absolutely shitting on it. But it's funny. I did make them all watch the Ultimate Edition. And probably 85% of them turned and they're like, okay, this is way better. Even though with Justice League, kind of throwing in there, Amanda, you start with you go next. We're going back, so.
Hard pass.
Oh, man. So here's the issue with 2017 Justice League. We didn't want to take another L at the time as a fan base because we got shit on after BVS. So we saw the reception, the Rotten Tomatoes score, all of that. Like, you saw it, and it was a constant battle after BVS. So we didn't want to take another L. So as Chris said, like, I was also blinded going into Justice League because I genuinely wanted to like it and enjoy it. So same as Leo, I got my Batman shirt on, I had my Batman toque on, I went in, we got posters. It was so I was so excited. And then you're watching it and you're like, why does Superman look like that? How do you ruin Henry Cavill's face? It's Henry Cavill. I was like, what are you doing? And it was just one like misstep after another. And then the humor wasn't like I guess it's not DC humor because I felt like it was very like Marvel humor that you can't really mix with DC characters in my opinion. So that's why it didn't really work for me. And then like the Flash scene with Wonder Woman, like just all of it took me to Age of Ultron stuff. And I was like, oh boy, like we shouldn't have gone there for this one. And it really pissed me off by the end of it. But then I tried to say, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. And like, I wanted to make myself feel better because again, we did not want to take the L. We really didn't want to take it. And that's when it started coming out that like, Joss Whedon like reshot 80% of it. And then there is a cut and then this, and then it started snowballing and you're like, you know what? Like F 2017 Justice League, like you're just like, screw it. Like, and then you completely flip over. And then that's when we really got the momentum because of what we originally got in 2017. So that thing doesn't exist. It's not on my DCEU list for ranking at all. Like it stops at 9. That thing is out. I don't even put it on there because like to me, it really just doesn't exist. I can't do it. And I refuse to watch it again, ever. And my parents like it. they liked it. So I come downstairs like every once in a while and I'm like, why is this on? Like you're like, this is disrespectful in my own house. Like, why is this on? You know what I mean? So then like I watched it with them, my third watch, and they're like, man, this is amazing. This is so much better for like Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's fantastic, blah, 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 because they explained everything, and we'll get into that after, but like, it's just such a big change, and 2017 just doesn't exist. So
it's all right. My family loves Suicide Squad.
Ooh.
My dad watched that like consistently, so I get it.
Yeah.
Now let's go to Ren. I know Ren's opinions on Justice League 2017, so kind of just share them.
Ooh.
Okay, so like everybody else, I need to take it back a little bit. So not only to Batman vs Superman, to Man of Steel, because I don't know how the rest of the panel feels besides Zach, but it's called Masterpiece of Steel in my head. Okay, Masterpiece of Steel is freaking amazing. And then I went into BVS, and this was like during my first year doing movie reviews. So at the time, I still watched whoever was watching movies earlier before they come out, and so I was like, oh, BVS is bad. Damn. So I went to watch BVS. I watched it 3 times in the theater. And I was like, okay, I clearly like this more than critics that I follow are liking it, but it's not as good as it could have been. Not as good as a Batman v Superman movie should be. And then come 2017. I was super excited. It was the year I started getting press screenings, and so I get a press screening to Justice League. And I'm like, okay, cool. 8 a.m. I'm there. So I went to see it, and I was like, I like it. And then I went to see it on the first public screening on that same day in the evening. And I still stand by it, man. I enjoy that film. The biggest problem with that film was how much WB butchered it. Because it was like having a cake drop on the floor, and then they told Joss Whedon, make this edible somehow. And he made it edible. There's a phrase I use that is, the rule of cool always applies. And they took that a little bit too far. Because there's a lot of cool moments in that film. But when you start to think about it, you feel absolutely nothing. This film's actually emotional moments that
you disappeared for
I'm
a
back.
second.
Okay. Okay. I'm back.
It's the mother
I'm
boxes.
back. Okay. So 2017 Justice Mother, I am coming. No, but 2017 Justice League makes you feel nothing. It's 2 hours of that's cool, and that's cool, but at the end of the day, it doesn't stick around in your mind. You don't want to talk about it. It's, oh, have you seen that movie? Someone says yes, and that's it for the conversation. Zack Snyder's Justice League, we're still talking about it. We're going to be talking about it because there's so many profound moments and compelling moments. And
oh, he's gone. All right. It really was Steppenwolf. Oh.
No.
Oh no.
Oh. I don't know what.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're back.
Mm-hmm. I apologize. I don't know what's wrong.
Now you're last place.
Okay.
We're gonna play
like Superman in Zack Snyder's Justice League. It came in last.
It's all right. Batman's my favorite, so I'm Batman. So, Ren, it's funny with you. My first big screener, my first big actual.
I am always funny.
It was Justice League. My first big screener was Justice League, and I'm like, oh my god, like, yes, this is awesome. But I should have known there was a reason why they invited someone who had like not the biggest numbers at the time to go and see Justice League early. They wanted as many critics in there. And dude, they spoiled us. Posters, shirts, all this stuff. But and honestly, I fell for it, like rose-tinted glasses. I watched it and I'm like, but even though the thing I say in that is I walked out and I'm like, I really like this. Like I really liked it as a Justice League animated, like, because I love the animated show, but like when you go back and rewatch it, it's not like the best written, and neither was like for me for this. So I felt like, oh, it kind of feels like a nice vein in that. It didn't feel like a Zack Snyder film at all, though, and that's probably the big thing. Like anytime I've rewatched it and it comes up with it says a Zack Snyder film, I just laugh my ass off each time.
Yeah,
it's not a Zack Snyder.
Lies.
Yeah. So, but then here's the thing: I never saw it again in theaters. Usually, every comic book film I go and see at least one more time.
Yeah.
Didn't see it again at all. Didn't care to. My mom got me it for my birthday. I watched it again, and it just started falling. And this is when all that drama started coming out. How much Whedon actually shot, what was going behind the scenes. All that nature started to really flow out. And it just started pissing me off. You know, I would put it on in the background here and there as a guilty pleasure because I kind of just do it. But I rewatched it right before the Snyder Cut. And I absolutely hated it. I watched it that entire time. I just sat there and I was like, this is gross. Like, and then when you see the Snyder Cut, you think back and you're like, this is even more gross. They really butchered this whole thing up, and to the point where I truly think that is one of the it's one of the worst things that has ever happened to a movie in our industry. And I think it goes as far to say that I think studios need to trust their artists a little bit more. It's okay to give notes, but you can't just take the whole film away from them. And it makes me think of like other movies that this happened to. You know, we talk about Suicide Squad. I still think Suicide Squad maybe would be a tiny bit better, but David Ayer only got like 6 weeks to write that damn script. So there's going to be issues regardless. 100%. But I look at the new Hellboy film that Neil Marshall got that film ripped away from him in the editing bay. So who knows what that would have been, you know? There's things like that I'm just like, let's not screw over these people. And I really want to know the conversations at Warner Brothers right now. I'd love to be a fly on the wall and be like, oh, what are you guys saying? Because, like, you know they're having conversations. We know how reactionary they are. I'm sure there's someone there. I'm sure we all seen that meme of all the people in the office boardroom. They're like, what should we do? And every single person says something right, and then the last person gets thrown out the window. That last person's probably sitting there like, I really want to say it, but like, we fucked up, and we should really try and get Snyder back. But I'm telling you guys right now, he's probably going to get signed on to a Netflix deal.
Real quick,
can
I say something real quick?
Yeah, of course.
How cringy was it to start that film off with the edited Superman in some iPhone found footage?
It's like they tried to be Marvel.
No,
like,
Whedon was a prophet.
Exactly.
He predicted the 4-3 aspect.
Yeah. I will say, though, it sucks, though, because the people I was working with at the time were way more DC than Marvel. And almost every single one of them went and saw Justice League 2017, and they still stand by this day. When they all went and saw Endgame, I was like, oh, what do you guys think? They're like, Justice League was better. I said, what the fuck do you mean it was better?
Oh, wow.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, they're like, it was shorter, it was more emotional. Dude, I don't talk to them anymore. I really want to reach out to them. Just be like, do you guys watch the Zack Snyder Cut? Because, like, if you said it now, you know, we can have the argument, I guess, but like, come on. Seriously, that's what we're going to talk about. But let's move into our next thing, and it's the characters. There are so many things that happen in this film. What is the big thing that really improved was character development for every single person. Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, The Flash, Superman, Cyborg, and even Steppenwolf, man.
Right.
So we're going to kind of go around, mention which character you guys would love to talk about, which one really stuck out to you, who is your favorite, and let's just kind of talk about it. So, Amanda, I'm going to start with you since Ren decided to go away and hide away.
Oh, man. So everyone that knows me, I absolutely love Batfleck. Batman's like, he's amazing as Bruce Wayne, and Zack Snyder's version of Batman, like I've said many times before, is like a perfect marriage. And I would love to see more of Batfleck, but you know, stuff and things happened and made me mad. So he was great in this. I really love that he had so much faith in the squad, and you know, his conversations with Alfred as well. They have great chemistry, him and Jeremy Irons, and I would love to see more of that as well. And we saw enough in this one. But yeah, like even Ben's in chemistry with each and every one of them, like everyone on the team was really strong, especially with Diana. I thought it was, you know, their chemistry is always great, and I love that scene in BVS. So it was really nice to see them back together again in this film. But the one standout that I will talk about is obviously Cyborg. He blew me away, and it just, when you're watching Zack Snyder's Justice League and you're seeing how much of Victor Stone was cut out from 2017, like I was getting pissed watching it. I was really like angry that I'm like, how could you do this to him? Like, you literally cut him out of the entire film. Like, if you watch 2017, Cyborg like did nothing in the movie. He did nothing. And it's just, like it's so horrendous that it was even like cut down to that point. And obviously, if I were Ray Fisher, like he was ecstatic when he watched Zack Snyder's Justice League. Like he has a whole video, and it was just so beautiful to see. So to see that character development and then see that he was the glue that held everything together, without him, like they wouldn't have known like anything about the mother boxes. And it was also easier for like viewers to understand what the mother boxes are and what they could do and all of that. So it was really great to have more character development for him as a whole, like with the rest of the team. So Cyborg is definitely a standout, but my heart is always with Affleck because he's always great. Yeah. And that nightmare scene was just, man, it was fantastic. Yeah. So
awesome. Leo, throw it in.
It's hard not to touch on Ray Fisher's Cyborg because so many fantastic. His whole story was cut. His entire story was cut. I mean, all the beautiful moments, the moment where he's riding in the car with his mother, when he looks up in the football stands and sees that his dad isn't there. You didn't get those great touching moments of Cyborg in the 2017 cut. So I absolutely love the added character scenes that Cyborg got. I mean, we didn't get any of him at all. And I was just thinking to myself the whole time, how do you cut this glorious piece of Cyborg that was in the movie? A couple other things I really wanted to touch on because I like each and every one of these characters, and I think I liked the fact that all of them got their moments. That Flash scene where he's reversing time, seriously, what a visual masterpiece and a feast for us comic fans. Because seriously, that's one thing that we haven't seen on live action is Flash's abilities to their full extent. And it's like to use the reversal of time and actually depict it so visually stunning like that was absolutely amazing. And then you have Wonder Woman, the small portion where she gets down on her knee and talks to the little girl and tells her she can do anything that she wants to do. I mean, it's just these small moments that were cut out of the movie that really made these characters all the more brilliant in this cut. And then Aquaman, way better in this. Way better.
Yeah.
I mean,
everything set up these characters for their own movies and past it. And that's what's crazy to me. They say this isn't the canon version. Then how's the Flash going to be? Because I cared more about him completely missed. And I really hope this is the version we kind of get maybe a little less of the jokey side because I still don't love Ezra Miller's kind of jokey stuff.
Look,
you said that, Leo. I jumped the hell out of my seat when I saw him reversing time. I said, they're doing it. Oh, my God. And
they went there.
Yeah, they went there. And being a fan of The Flash since I was a kid, oh my God, it was just everything. Chris, tell us about your thoughts.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned the whole not canon thing because in a way, even with like the solo Aquaman movie and stuff, like the end of the Snyder Cut sets up the universe way more better. You know, my biggest complaint is that they rushed into trying to create the DCU within 3 movies and whatnot. But in that 4-hour version, they set up the world so well to where you could see each character go off into their own journey, specifically the Flash. I mean, that not only did they introduce his abilities to shift time and mess with stuff like that, and that's what his solo movie is all going to be about, and we're going to explore that aspect of it. Aquaman going like, oh, I'm going off, you know, to be with my dad and whatnot, and I'm like, that's exactly where we see him in the beginning of his Aquaman movies with his dad. So it's like, canon or not, this feels way more in line with everything else. What was the main question though here? I got
it was the characters and like which characters stood out to you, your favorite moments.
Yeah, so like definitely a huge improvement on the Flash. My main gripe was, you know, I'm still not all up for his like fast talking dorkiness. I just like I want him to be funny, but it's not coming off as funny. It's just coming off a little more annoying to me. And like that hot dog scene was like, I'm just thankful he didn't grab one and take a bite. Like I thought that's what was about to happen. He was going to bite it in that moment, but they made it make sense in the end. But even after that, amazing stuff with the Flash. He feels like a god in here. Like his powers full-fledged. Just his shoes ripping at the movement of him shifting is like, that's amazing. The way he pokes through the glass, the way he saves everybody with the parademons and really fast, like that was awesome. And specifically also at the very end, the Cyborg stuff, that whole sequence where he we get not only to see how his powers works, but how he is as a person, where he gives that woman money that's been struggling her whole life. Like that's such a great scene that I felt definitely did not need to be cut out, because in the Whedon version, all he does is like go through everyone's files and learns who Batman, who's Flash. He's like, I would have rather the other version stick around. Other than that, I'm also glad Aquaman wasn't made to be like a goof, where like he sat down on the lasso of truth and spilled the beans. Like here he was.
That's right.
And see, I never knew that scene was.
I like that scene. Not gonna lie.
It's fun, but I didn't know that scene was like they were all filmed in different spots and then just put together. I didn't know that until recently. So,
and that's also another thing that watching the 2017 version, you can kind of tell what is green screen reshot just because of how the actors look kind of slightly different. Even their personas give off a more like phoned in vibe of their acting. Specifically, Ben Affleck. You know, not to be rude, but I felt like he was just pretty sick of playing Batman at that point with everything going on in his life.
Yep.
And here, the acting is so much more improved. You can tell the characters are in it. They were really giving it their all. And even Ray Fisher, who we now know was the most annoyed out of everybody on that set, his performance really stood out. So not only that, just the performances in general really felt way better than they did the first time around.
Congrats, man, to the I honestly think like the performances are some of the best things in here, especially Ray Fisher. I can't say this enough. Warner Brothers, if you don't want him, Marvel, please come grab him and give him his own big film, because you know, he honestly blew me away, because I think he came from Broadway before this. I could be wrong.
Yeah, he was.
And I remember when he came in the screen, I was like, who's this guy? And I've never given a fuck about Cyborg before my entire life. I've just never cared about this character until now. I actually genuinely liked him. I always thought he was fun and funny in the Teen Titans show, but like, loved him in this.
Yeah.
All right, my friend who hates BVS and threw that.
You should change his name.
I would just love it if you turned around and just threw it as hard as you could against the
Just snap the disc right in front of Amanda. I'm kidding. But so, you know, everyone's kind of touched on Cyborg. I did not give two flying fadoodles about Ray Fisher or Cyborg before Zack Snyder Justice League, because it was like he was not even in the movie. I was like, why am I watching this? I got my Cyborg from Doom Patrol, like, you know, so I was going that route. But like it really did stick out. Like he really is the heart of the film. Cyborg is, and he just got so much more screen time. It was necessary for the 4-hour film, because you did have to introduce Flash and Cyborg to kind of, you know, make everyone a team, because we kind of already got, you know, well, prior to after the 2017 version, we had Aquaman solo film, and now we have 2 Wonder Woman films. But so the character with the most progression, definitely Cyborg. My favorite was probably Wonder Woman, because she was just kicking ass up and down. I was like, oh my gosh, like her first intro scene, like she's like on top of the bank. I was like, oh, shit's about to go fucking fire. Let's go. Let's go. Like you just really, she is the most experienced out of all these people. So it's like, it was just really cool just to see her kicking ass and taking names. Like she just fought her heart out, and that's why I just really love that. I don't know why, but I was like, I'm for it.
And honestly, shout out to like Zach. I just thought of this as like, technically he didn't get to do his full reshoots he probably wanted to do for the movie. He got to do the bare minimum ones, of course, that we know with the Nightmareverse and stuff. But it's really fantastic, because usually, you know, we saw New Mutants and that didn't get its reshoots either, and you could clearly tell it did not get its reshoots. Like, that film was very much missing a lot. So I was really excited to see how they were able to pull that all off. Ren, characters, come on.
Well, everyone's talked about Cyborg, so let's talk about Superman, the greatest Superman to have ever lived in the silver screen, or in any other screen for a matter of fact. When I tell you that I love Man of Steel, I fucking love Man of Steel. So when that score comes into this film, he enters the Kryptonian ship, he starts to listen to the voices of both his fathers, the air on my arms immediately goes up, and he starts to listen to that phrase from Jor-El that he must come to this planet, he must find out what he has to do, even if it takes his whole life. Well, guess what? He just got brought back to life, so it did take his entire life, and he takes on this new, improved version of himself, because in a very subtle way, the way Superman is portrayed in this film is a very delicate balance between what we saw in Man of Steel, that new version of Superman who's not the old school Boy Scout, but in a way it brings kind of those elements into it, so it becomes this amazing balance of the classic vintage version of Superman and this new Zack Snyder interpretation. And for the first time in this universe, he is Superman as we know him, because he has that beautiful scene back in the farm where his mother sees him for the first time, and that's the scene where I was like starting to choke up. My chin was quivering. And then when he goes into battle, just doesn't have to say anything. He just comes in and he kicks ass. Like Steppenwolf was having a hard time with the League, but he was able to fight them off every once in a while. When Superman comes in, he stays down and takes everything that's coming to him. And it only makes me fall more in love with the interpretation of this interpretation of Superman with Man of Steel, with BVS. And I need more of this Superman, man. I need Warner Bros. To be having those conversations, because we need the Man of Steel 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10.
Yeah, no, the scene when he throws his axe at Cyborg and it just bing, I was like,
didn't they say like not impressed or something? I was like,
yeah,
Yeah.
And the crossbow came in. I was like, oh
Cavill,
Lord.
just, I've said it. You know, I loved Superman as a kid, like from the animated shows and stuff like that. But like, and even the Christopher Reeve, but he was never my favorite superhero until I saw Man of Steel, and I was like, God, Cavill is just like and that was the same thing with Captain America. I wasn't that big of a fan of Captain America until Winter Soldier, and it showed me like, oh, he's not just a Boy Scout. There's a lot more depth to him, and I think that's the same thing with Superman here. So, my favorite character, Ben Affleck's Batman, is my favorite Batman of all time. So before Robert Pattinson, I don't know yet. Everyone who watches my channel knows that's my most anticipated movie of all time. Like I've literally never been more excited. Maybe Toy Story 3, but never been more excited for a movie my entire life besides this Batman film. I'm so stoked to see what Pattinson and all that's going to do. But Ben Affleck, when he was announced, I feel like I was one of the only people actually defending the guy. I said, has anyone seen The Town? Has anyone seen any of his other recent films? Because this guy can act, and I think he's going to do a great job. And what happened? BVS came out, and everyone said Batman was the best part about the film, the original cut. Yep. And for me, Batman is that best version of Ben Affleck in every sort of way. And the best thing is for me is I feel this way. He portrays Bruce Wayne and Batman. Whereas Christian Bale, I feel like, portrays Bruce Wayne better than Batman, and I feel like Michael Keaton portrays Batman better than Bruce Wayne. There's never been that perfect sync where Ben Affleck portrays, and it's my favorite version of Batman, the older, grittier, seen everything in this world Batman. Wonder Woman. I love the original Wonder Woman. I have issues with the third act. I absolutely love 1984. I know everyone else in the world fucking hates it, but whatever. I love it. I think Gal Gadot's incredible. I love her in this. And Zack Snyder just completely goes 300 style with her, letting her go off. And I saw people complaining about her killing people.
It's what she does. I'm sorry.
Wonder Woman kills. Come on.
It's what she does.
Every hero kills at one point in time. I'm sorry. I've seen the MCU. There are plenty of times when people kill in the MCU.
Or literally chop Thanos' head off. It's
right.
like,
yes. So, and then Aquaman, I really, really, really like the Aquaman movie, but I never felt like he got that great setup going in. Again, I can't get how they can say this is not canon, where everything feels canon. The Flash. I mean, that moment of him just reversing time, I had straight up goosebumps. The score, everything about that, and something we haven't talked about is Junkie XL's score. The scenes that Whedon used, this is one simple scene of the Flash running around in a circle to poke the sword towards Wonder Woman. In the Whedon version, I thought that was stupid. In the Snyder version with the score enhanced that scene and actually made it more emotional and more gratifying. So that. Then you have Cyborg, which everyone's talked so greatly about. Ray Fisher, like, I can see why Snyder was like, let's get this guy. He portrays Cyborg in such a way that made me care about Cyborg more than anything. He is truly... everyone says he's the heart and soul. I say he's more the soul of the entire movie, but the heart of it all is Superman. Because why are they coming together? It's to honor Superman. And Superman, for me, the black suit, everything coming in, just completely goes insane. And I absolutely loved what Superman did. And Henry Cavill just playing it easily. And I don't know if you guys noticed. Did you guys notice that Zack Snyder repurposed footage from Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman for certain scenes?
Yeah, I saw that.
Smart, man. I mean, Snyder thinks outside the box. Okay, I can't do reshoots. we'll do that then. It was just great. So now let's jump into the side characters. Now, there's a couple in here. The biggest one probably being Martian Manhunter showing up. And of course, we talked about Steppenwolf a little bit. Steppenwolf being actually a villain that you somewhat care about towards the end, understanding why he's doing this. His face had like a puppy dog eyes at the end when I kind of felt bad. But I'm going to start with the side characters this time. I want to really start with Martian Manhunter. This is someone that we knew was going to show up in here. I'm going to be honest. I didn't love that scene with Lois. I wish it was actually Martha Kent. I feel like it would have been more emotional for it to be that. But it was still pretty cool. When the red eye showed up, I'm like, who the fuck is this? And then I was like, oh, Martian Manhunter. I was so confused for a second. And then, of course, Martian Manhunter at the end, which if people don't know, that was supposed to be Green Lantern.
Yeah. Still
feel like that maybe would have worked out. I just, for me, you've been around this long and all this shit's happened in the world and now you come out. Like, they could have used you. I was half expecting him to show up in the final battle. Like, part of me was just expecting. Yeah. But, it was really nice just seeing him in there. Lex Luthor in here. Deathstroke. Pretty much everything we've seen before from them. It was just nice seeing Deathstroke a little more because I want more of that Deathstroke in this world. I really need that Deathstroke versus Batman movie. I really do. And then
the way they set that up, man.
Mara, I don't even want to talk about it.
I don't understand why she had that accent. It's like no one else no other Atlantean is speaking with an old English British accent.
Yeah,
but you just had to do it
for sure.
Yeah, but,
she doesn't have a British accent in Aquaman, the movie.
No. Exactly.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
Terrible.
That was
but then the last one's the Joker. I kind of defended Jared Leto's Joker back in Suicide Squad because I said you could just tell there wasn't enough material for him, and that's the thing. The interpretation he was going for is cool, I guess. I think it was more of just the tattoos, the damaged and everything. Yeah. The conversation between him and Batman, my favorite thing was when Batman just like, I'm gonna fucking kill you one day. Like straight, like
I will fucking kill you.
That one and the Cyborg one when Cyborg's like, fuck him. I'm like, yeah, fuck him. Fuck him, man. The Joker and Batman scene was awesome. It was awesome. Was it needed? No. But was it nice to see them together? Absolutely. So, I had a blast with it. Let's kind of go. Let's go, Amanda. Now, side characters. Which one stood out to you the most? Which one was kind of like the one you wanted to see more of?
Yeah, I agree with you with Martian Manhunter because they also kind of dropped that scene in the trailers. Like, why would you put that scene with the red glowing eye?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I know. Like,
I didn't see it yet. True.
Well, it's good that like you guys didn't watch that part, but I was just like, why would you put that in a trailer? So I do think that emotionally, I wouldn't have placed him there, even though it was like a cool reveal. But him coming in at the end, like I thought he looked really wicked. And like you said, like, why wouldn't you come in beforehand and help them fight? You've been there since day one. I don't understand. So he looked really cool, and I'm excited to see if they do part 2, hopefully. I just said I was going to be excited to see in the sequel, and then we don't know if that's going to happen. So I would love to see more of him. I did not like Jared Leto's Joker in Suicide Squad. I cringed every single time he was on screen, and I felt so uncomfortable, but not in the same way that like Heath Ledger's Joker left you uncomfortable. So like this was just like, I need to get out of my seat and get out of this theater whenever he was on screen. But I love the improvement. I love Zack Snyder's version of the Joker. That entire scene was just my eyes were like lit up, and I was just like leaning into my screen. And then when Batman basically cursed, I was just cheering. It was one of the best moments there. Yeah. And like you said, was it needed? No. Was it cool? Yeah, for sure. We've been waiting for him to like swear like that. Of course, Batman swears, guys. Come on.
The rule of cool.
He's human. Yeah, like, I'm sorry. Everyone has said the F word once in their life. Come on. Yeah. I said it in 6th grade and got in trouble. And that was the first time I ever said the F word. And I got in trouble.
I want Batman to say the C word now.
Woo! Go all in, huh?
Can you imagine if he just like, it was a huge, just like, Zack Snyder's like, just say whatever you want to him. Say whatever you want to him. So,
Just swear, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And I love the Nightmareverse. I mean, and I told Ren this. You know, I've never bought a hot toy in my life. I saw that you could pre-order the Black Suit Superman and the Nightmareverse Batman. I said, God damn it, that stimulus check. Yeah, sorry. That is going to do it. And I did it.
Do it.
So, Leo, let's talk about it. Favorite side character? Which one stood out to you the most?
Oh man, it's hard not to say Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
I had seen the Martian Manhunter before going in, so I'd already seen it. But man, once I saw that scene where the eyes glow up and he transforms from Martha into the Martian Manhunter, thought that was really, really cool. Nice surprise because I had already seen it and it was spoiled in the trailer, so yeah. But it was really cool to get that nice surprise, and I mean, just bringing in Martian Manhunter and giving him that one little conversation with Batfleck at the end was awesome. I mean, Steppenwolf's not really a side character, but I love the improvements to him in this movie. I mean, he actually has a purpose this time. He actually is serving Darkseid, and we get to see him play that middle management. He's not the main baddie. And so we get to actually see him have a purpose and have a reason to be going after the Justice League in the mother boxes, as opposed to 2017, where he just kind of lands down in Themyscira and it's a chase from there.
The eyes is such a big part of it too.
Yeah, I really like everybody, but also Silas Stone was a character that was super undercut in the 2017. I mean, seriously, the relationship between him and Cyborg was not explored at all, and I think it brought so much more to Cyborg's character for him to see his father make that sacrifice. I mean, just
that
what
scene.
A great scene.
I cried. I had tears in my eyes the second he started heating up the. At first, I was like, "What are you doing? Like, I don't like you. You just go away. Just hide the box. Give it to them. Whatever." But then once you find out why he did that, you're like, "Oh my god."
Makes much more sense.
Perfect. Great actor. Great actor. He's so underrated when he pops in. Chris, let's get to you, man.
Yeah, I have to agree with the Martian Manhunter stuff. It sucks to say that because I think he's such a cool character. Again, watching the Justice League cartoon is someone I always wanted to see them pop into live action, and they did. But in the context of how they did it, I just didn't think it worked all that well. It was just kind of like a cool reveal, and I think even the very end credit scene of Martian Manhunter was done even worse. I didn't think it worked there, and like Ben Affleck's Bat, he just looked so done with it. He was like,
which is crazy. I thought this was a reshoot. It wasn't. They filmed that
really.
I
thought that was a reshoot. He looked skinnier, healthier, and whatnot.
Yeah, he looks good.
That wasn't a reshoot. Apparently,
he just literally seen a brand new green alien come down from the sky, and he's like, "Can I help you?"
Yeah, okay.
I mean, but come on, guys. He's seen crazier.
I know.
It's a Tuesday for him.
Everyone talks about it. Penguins
also,
in Gotham. So
not only did the green alien come down, he goes ahead and talks about his mother and father, which in my book is like sensitive topic number 1 for Batman. He's like, I hope
that's a good point.
But
how do you know that? How do you also know?
He didn't want to get destroyed. He wanted to tell him about his mother and father. So Batman's like, "Oh, you have a mother and father." Okay.
There you go. But the other thing, also the way that he reveals his name, he's about to leave, and he's like, "Oh, they call me Martian Manhunter." I was just like, what? That didn't work for me right there. Steppenwolf definitely got the major improvement. You're right. I felt bad for him. When like Darkseid tells him you owe me 50,000 worlds or whatever, and you just see his face like, fuck. How long did these guys live for? Can he do that? I felt really bad. His motivations were clear, and he actually elevated himself to being one of the better DCU villains when he's at the bottom of the list in the 2017 version, where he's like when you just do not care about it all. And in this version, I was like, he's up there. Like,
I think he's my
5.
second favorite now, besides Zod. I love Zod, so like Zod's like right there. So it's interesting.
Also, some of those great money shots at the end, just like when they kill Steppenwolf and the Justice League are staring at Darkseid through the portal. Just like super chills right there. And that so cool. you can't say you don't want a part 2 or a continuation of that without, like, that's all the motivation Darkseid needs to be like, I'm gonna come to your planet and I'm gonna screw everything up now. Like, I love that. Other than that, like, everything else was good. But just that Martian Manhunter stuff was the other thing that really got me.
You mentioned Darkseid. None of us, I don't think, have mentioned him yet.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I wish we didn't see him in the trailer. I really wish we didn't see him in the trailer. God, what a surprise it would have been to be like, oh my God, Darkseid, and then like just in that mythology part, and then to like the other things. you know, I get it. Marketing, you got to ramp it up. You got to get these people who didn't see, who are like, this looks like the same movie, to watch it again. I love Darkseid. I thought they did that really well. The voice, everything about that. When you see him actually using his powers, he did get his ass kicked though by he did get his ass kicked by the gods though. I thought that was great. Also, really cool to see Ares in there. I don't know about you guys.
Ares saw Zeus. I was like,
and it looked like David Thewlis. It looked like the same actor.
It was. I think it was right.
It's probably a part of it was. I don't think we saw Ares in the original one. It was probably a CG double this time, but it still looked like them. Very much looked like him.
Yeah, I was all for that. All right, Christian, what about you, man?
I feel like everyone's kind of been talking about the same characters, which is fine. I think it was Silas Stone's assistant, the Atom. I think it was
Ryan Choi.
Oh, yeah. He was really cool. I didn't really care for Jared Leto all that much. I mean, his like reach around joke was like kind of funny. I was like, what is Batman fucking dreaming? But Martian Manhunter, like, I liked him, and like for whatever reason, when he is Martha Kent and I saw the red eyes, I'm like, Superman. I'm like, wait, no, that's not Superman. I'm like, oh crap, it's Martian Manhunter. Like, I thought it was clever, but like I'm still kind of pissed at Martian because it's like, you stood by and watched Superman get his ass handed to him. And
they got
didn't
this.
do anything. Like, I understand you're afraid of fire, bro, but like you could see. I mean, what was Batman gonna do? He's just sitting there with his guns. He's like, I can't do shit. Like, I'm sorry. And then Wonder Woman's fighting her heart out. You have Superman fighting his heart out, and Martian Manhunter. He's just sitting there. He's just like, okay, like we'll see what you guys can do. But yeah, I have to agree with Chris when he was like, my name is Martian Manhunter. I was like,
The Lawn Gnome says this. I think this is great. I think the line would have been better if he said, many call me the Martian Manhunter, but my friends call me Jon Jones.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot better. Yeah. So I mean, there was that, and I mean, Steppenwolf was definitely a big improvement. Like Chris had said, he owed Darkseid like 50,000 more worlds. I was like, what did this man, like, what did he do? I was like, oh my god.
Darkseid's wife. I think he slept with Darkseid's wife, and
no, because Steppenwolf is Darkseid's uncle. That's incest.
So
unless he
Game of Thrones, all of us in Game of Thrones, right? We know.
Yeah. And then we had Willem Dafoe back as what's his face? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
With the long hair.
That's the long hair. I'm like, okay.
So apparently Orem doesn't give a shit about this stuff, though, right? Like at all.
Doesn't bother the ocean. Doesn't bother him.
All right.
Steppenwolf ain't polluting the ocean, so he's cool. I agree with what everyone said when Martian Manhunter. Chris has some very good points. Bruce Wayne just woke up from a nap, so he's not asking questions, man. Silas Stone also was a real MVP, but man, the Themyscira scene, the Amazonians, kudos to them. Badasses. I love the I can't remember what the Olympic sport that's passing the baton from one to the other with the mother box.
Yeah.
So that's it. Thank you. And such a cool scene, such a great action scene that not only makes them look cool, but establishes Steppenwolf as an utter badass, like you guys have been saying as well. He's a really cool villain, like not only what he does, his motivations, but his look is amazing. I loved how his armor constantly shifted. I love that it was an armor, like as soon as Darkseid comes in, he starts stripping down and just being on his skin.
It just makes you look
really
at the original Steppenwolf and be like, why? Why? Any man.
Is it the same voice actor? Or
yeah,
different?
same voice.
It is,
Okay.
Sharon Hines.
Yeah. Awesome.
But Darkseid also looked awesome. I loved his voice. In all honesty, I was one of the people who was like, I mean, who is this guy? I want like a famous actor to play Darkseid. But then the dude sounds awesome as Darkseid.
Yeah.
And if you're a fan at all of like DC comics and the DC mythology, the fact that they're going full throttle into the anti-life equation, which is like the biggest thing you can go after, it just makes you look back again on the 2017 2017 Justice League and be like, why are you so afraid of diving into the nerdiness? Jesus. So yeah, those are my thoughts.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And you guys all mentioned the characters. Silas Stone was probably a big standout. Deathstroke, I really like just seeing in there because I want more of him.
Yes.
How dare we not get that Gareth Evans freaking film directed with them? Just absolutely baffles me that we're doing a fucking Hour Man movie, but we won't do. This is my thing. And I've overall really enjoyed most of the DCEU. But there are some baffling choices. Like, honestly, here's the thing. I love Shazam. It's my third favorite DCEU film. Come on. Where's Green Lantern, man?
Yeah.
I love Shazam.
Yeah.
I love
also
Shazam.
It's
weird.
true.
There was an interview that came out where Zack said that Warner Bros. Didn't let him use Green Lantern for that Martian Manhunter ending. But it's like, if Warner Bros. Is already like, your version isn't canon, it doesn't matter what you put in it, well, then why not just let him?
Yeah.
Why does it matter then? Just let him put it in there. And the other thing you were saying about like that Hour Man, like Zack also said, Justice League 3, if his world would have continued, Justice League 3 would have been the Man of Steel 2 sequel that we all wanted. So that means we would still not have gotten a Man of Steel 2 if Zack was there. We would have gotten Justice League 3. So it would have been like a continuation almost 15, 20 years later.
Yeah.
So, okay. we're tying it up, guys. We're getting towards the end of this. A couple more things to kind of talk about. I want everyone to kind of go through and say their favorite moment. The scene that's like stuck and engraved in your mind. Even if someone else already says it, mention it again. Ren, I'm going to have you start.
I'm gonna cheat right away. It's gonna be a tie between when Superman comes in and he starts to just throw Steppenwolf around, and the moment Martha Wayne. Why did you say that name? I know. I'm sorry. When she comes in back to the farm and she sees Clark alive for the first time. So those are my two favorites.
All right, Christian.
So mine is definitely the Themyscira, with her mother box, the whole not dark side sequence, but actually no, it is a tie between Themyscira, with the mother box when I did it again. Well, Steppenwolf tried to take it, and then the history lesson that Wonder Woman gave out Batman. I thought that was like really. I just love that crap.
All those scenes are enhanced with the score and the length given to them. Like they're not chopped up or cut up. Like that scene's probably like 10 minutes almost. Where in the original cut, what, 2 or less? Yeah. Like, and I remember
maybe not even a minute.
Yeah, I was like, this scene's awesome. Oh, it's over. All right. Yeah. Chris, what about you?
I'm glad you went in this order because I felt like other people were going to say it. The Flash reversing time after that explosion. It's just that it really is engraved with the music in there, and like even just the way he like stops time right away and then starts running. And even though I thought it was corny at first, but it played off when he's like, "Dad, your kid was one of the good ones." and then when he gets to the team. And you see Superman piece back together, Cyborg since it's rated R, they can do the whole skull and blood in and all that. I thought that was perfect. So that's the scene that'll be engraved in my head.
Yeah, Leo.
Oh,
sorry,
man,
Leo.
Chris, that was mine, man. Well, I got a couple. Definitely the Flash scene with the reverse time, visually stunning. The score is beautiful in that scene. Yes, them rematerializing was amazing, and then what followed when they actually encountered Darkseid eye to eye. Fantastic. The Themyscira scene was great as well. And I think those two are probably the two biggest ones that stick out, like just as super memorable and just visually stunning. And then the war scene, the history lesson. Oh my God, incredible. A lantern, guys, a lantern. That lantern got messed. That ring got to go to Hal Jordan though.
Amanda, what about you?
Yeah, well, I agree with all those. I really love the Flash scene, but I really enjoyed the Aquaman scene when he was walking out on the pier, and then all the water was crashing, and I'm like, that shot, like I was just mesmerized. I'm like, that, like, really, realistically, you did not have to put any of that in there, and he could have just gone like straight into the water but oh my God, he looks so sick, and that was one thing that stood out in my mind. The Wonder Woman bank scene.
Oh, yeah.
Unreal. Like that hooked me right there. I was absolutely floored. But the thing is, in the 2017 version, that was cut and the score was completely different. So we're gonna we spoke about Junkie XL's score. It just elevated that scene like times 100. So that is another one that stood out for me. And then obviously the history lesson was just absolutely stunning. I love seeing that.
Absolutely. So I'm so happy no one said like one of my favorite moments, because I love the Flash, I love all those, I love the Wonder Woman scene, I love the mascara, I love the whole flashback scene. My favorite's the Batmobile scene. Dude, the score enhanced, you see the team coming together in that one hero shot. I'm like, oh my god, they're just going. And just seeing Ben Affleck and just his determination, like that is the big thing. Like you feel that guilt in almost every single scene with him, and he still goes to battle knowing I could die. Superman might not show up at all, but I could die. And just seeing how he is. I want more of Ben Affleck in this world. I want all these people interacting more and more. I want him and Gal's Wonder Woman to end up together, because they both deserve it. They both have had fucked up things. They both deserve it.
Yes.
I just love it.
Please.
please. Not
the sexual tension in those scenes, man.
Dude, which is weird that
it's
if
true.
his version continues, it would have been with Lois Lane instead.
Yeah.
Well, his
what the hell?
It would have ended with like Kent and Lois's kid being Bruce, or Bruce Kent.
Batman, Bruce Kent.
I didn't know how I felt about that, because it's like everyone from the Bat family has like really like they're like loners, like they're really messed
Did you
up.
see that? They originally wanted to put Barbara Gordon in the film.
Yeah.
And again, it's just things like that just make me go like, you want to expand this world, and Zack's trying to do it, and then you guys are like, not really. We don't really want to do anything. We want the bare minimum. I just, I was thinking like and I love that this was still Zack's scene when he goes out and he goes room for more when they're looking at the bat. And if you guys notice, when we see that Batman waking up and they do that overhead shot, the manor's being built. You see it being built in the back, so that's really cool. Yeah. And I don't know about you guys. I'm probably going to watch this film again today because of all this
I'm trying to wait for the Blu-ray.
Yeah, the
I sent
4K
Leo
Blu-ray.
a picture with like one guy was like watching the film, but he didn't like the black bars on the side, so he like moved his curtains.
Yeah, I saw green towels or something. Maybe we saw the same thing. I
was like, "What are you doing?"
Did you see people were renting out theaters to watch it? So you could rent out a theater and go see it.
Yeah,
I wish my theater was showing it.
I wish.
No, you can just put it in your laptop. I mean, that's what I understand, that you can just.
Oh, really?
I have to look that up.
On HBO Max. Let's go.
Yeah. But so kind of getting down to the last thing, we talked about our favorite moments. We talked about all of this. Now let's come to our least favorite moments before giving our final thoughts. Did the 4-hour runtime need to happen? Were there things that could have been cut out? Was the epilogue needed? For me, I think it could have ended with Superman opening his shirt and done. Yeah. But again, the Nightmareverse scene was cool. And Martian Manhunter talking to Bruce Wayne was pretty cool, I guess, even if the line dialogue didn't completely work. For me, I think the 4 hours in this type of version, I think, for sure, go with it. Go as long as you wanted to. You could have gone 5. I wouldn't have cared. Yeah. I am surprised they didn't do the miniseries route. I'm happy they didn't, because I'm really, really, really happy they didn't do it, because I would have rather just experienced it all in one. And I think if you would have just given people that first part, I think people would have tuned out. Personally, I think the general going audience, but I think now that you have this 4-hour thing, it has become a big event. And I'm not saying we're gonna hear things on this, because I also want to ask you guys, where do we go from here? Does the Restore the Snyderverse actually happen? Things are stranger. I never thought this would happen, and for years, Electro's back as Spider-Man, so that's even weirder.
Lord,
I put it as like, you don't know. I'm gonna say there's a chance, but I think it's more likely that we get an animated movie with these characters, with the voice actors coming back. Because I would love an anime version of Nightmareverse. Cool. I don't know about you guys. I would love, and I'm all about a story. The DC animated films are pretty cool. So, if you were like to say, hey, we're going to take Zack's ideas, fuck you, Ren. We're going to take the DC animated films and go, hey, we're going to do everything we possibly can. We're going to take Zack's whole entire vision and all this stuff, and we're going to finish it out. I'd be fine with that. But of course, I'd rather have it all just in live action.
Yeah.
All right, Amanda, you start.
Superman's back.
Sure. For Restore the Snyderverse, it's a tough call. I mean, like we saw what happened with release of Snyder Cut, and obviously we got the movie out of it, but this is completely different. Honestly, I don't think that Warner Brothers is interested, because they would have kind of maybe even said something by now. If they were working with Zack up until this point, they would have kind of said something. And also, it's ultimately up to Zack, and if he wants to come back and work with them, because I really don't think that he wants to put himself through that unless he has full creative control, as he did with this film.
But even then, they could say full creative control and then be like, you know what? Actually, we want to change it.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's a big thing. And we've seen how many directors are. I mean, has Warner Brothers kind of screwed up? I like Warner Brothers. You know, they make a lot of good movies, but I mean, you have Denis, you have Nolan, now you have Zack. I mean, that's three people. And Zack, in a lot of his interviews, he was very point blank with what Warner Brothers had said to him. So it sucks. I will say this though. I know Netflix owns a lot of the Frank Miller comics. Like I know they now own Kick-Ass. They own stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, if Zack wants to take on those things,
That'd be awesome.
I'll take it. So no, I'm with you on that.
They
Amanda.
also own the Mark Millar comics now.
Yes,
That's true.
That's right.
Good stuff there.
so, it's interesting. So I don't know. Do you think the 4-hour runtime was needed though?
I don't mind it. I think that for Zack, like, it makes perfect sense, because like he would do that, and I love
long
every
movies,
So I think
better.
that it's true, but he developed all the characters, and I think that's the most important thing, considering what he did at the end of BVS with like their little files and the icons, and it was rushed. Don't get me wrong, but we needed to go in depth with those characters. So the 4-hour runtime, like, it did not bother me whatsoever. And like you said, if it went to a miniseries, I really think it would have lost the general audience. Like, this is 4 hours. It's an event. It's iconic. It's going to be the event of the year, to be perfectly honest. People are still, like, they're messaging me saying, I just watched it. Oh my God, Amanda, it's so great. And I'm like, and these are people, like, that don't watch comic book movies, but they're watching it. So that's awesome if more people can kind of watch this and get into this world as well. So I love the 4-hour runtime. I watched it 3 times, and you watched it 3 times, Zach. So like it clearly doesn't bother us. Yeah. But like I didn't mind it, and I'm really happy that more people are watching it and giving it a chance. Yeah,
Leo.
I remember seeing the 4-hour runtime at first, and I was like, "Yay, it's gonna be split into a miniseries." And then when it got put together. Not gonna lie, I was one of the people griping about it. I wish that it was actually split up. Yeah. I was like, I wish that it was split up episodically so we could just digest every hour nice and slow. But then after seeing it, I do understand why they put it into 4 hours, because I agree with you. I do think that people would have lost interest, especially after the first episode. It would have been kind of mostly the same. It would have just kind of stayed within the lines of the 2017 version, and we're like, oh, okay, well, this is the same movie. People would have been disinterested. So I actually really like the 4-hour runtime, and it didn't feel like 4 hours, to be honest. Like, once I got through it, didn't feel that way. I think I'm the only one that liked the Martian Manhunter line exchange with Batman. I actually love that when he's like, "They call me Martian Manhunter," like, my man. All right, man. I think the Nightmare scene, I like it a lot, and I actually really love this version of Jared Leto. What's that?
It placed weird. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I thought it was what I thought it was going to be is Batman was going to somehow touch a mother box, and then he sees that whole thing, and I was like, oh, okay, this is like a vision of the future. But it was just a nightmare that he had, and what I don't really like about it is the fact that it sets up for so much more, and we may not even get it. And hopefully the Snyderverse stuff does happen. But I seen an article
what Zack wanted the original ending to be. No. He discussed it at that SnyderCon thing that they did like 2 years ago when he did They Should Watch Man of Steel. Originally, the Justice League was supposed to lose. That's why when they lost, I was like, oh my God, they're doing it. This is going to be that big cliffhanger. Because honestly, I don't think it was like that big of a cliffhanger as he was like talking about.
No, it wasn't a cliffhanger.
But like, I felt still satisfied with the movie ending. There was still stuff left open. But like the original ending was everyone pretty much dying besides Batman, Flash, and Cyborg, and Superman turning evil and stuff like that. So I thought they were about to do it, and they didn't.
Didn't Zach say that he was like not really down to come back? Like he was like kind of tired. Like so.
I've heard both.
Putting that in, I've heard both sides.
It's been going back and forth. Yeah.
Depends on who he's interviewed by. To be honest, I think if it's someone he's more friends with, like Cinema Blend and stuff like that, I think you can tell he's like, you never know. Where the people who I feel like are just asking him to ask, because if you get an interview with Zach, like I don't know. A lot of those
need that ice cream scoop.
Yeah, I get it. We all know those outlets that just ask because they want the scoop.
Yeah.
And I think for them, Zach's like, no. Like, I personally don't see Zach coming back, at least not for a bit. Mm-hmm. But you never know. Warner Brothers might be like, do whatever you want. If you can get the rest of the team back together. Because I think the hardest person to get back would be Ben. Honestly, I think Ben's the hardest person to get back. I know he's going to be in Flash, but he's signed on to direct like 3 different films right now, back to back to back.
Yep.
So there's that whole thing right there. Chris, I'm going to jump to you now.
I mean, going off with that, I didn't mind the 4-hour runtime. If we were going to get on streaming, might as well. And that's why I think the whole Netflix deal, if that does go down with Zach, would be perfect. Because if you look at his history with Watchmen, the Ultimate Cut, and now this, he loves making long movies, and studios will just continue to cut that down because they want to play it as many times as they can in the theater for that box office. As far as it continuing, I just don't think it will. I think Zach wants to move on. I think he's happy and he's very proud of the fan base that supports him. But I think he's eager to do his own stuff with like a zombie movie or whatever else he has in mind and whatnot. And I'm eager to see that stuff go down because I think because I think he is a very talented filmmaker. But I think this is the end of it. And DC definitely seems more focused on solo movies. They saw that the Joker success can be $1 billion movie without being connected to anything. And then they announced Batgirl, a Blue Beetle, this Hour Man. They're just solo one-shot movies that could, possibly make them money without having to everything be connected.
Yeah. They're reactionary, though. I mean,
they really are.
We don't know. They could see this and be like, Monday, we're announcing this, but we don't have anything. Like, we don't know. No cast, no nothing. We might just do another Justice League with a completely different cast, with Wonder Woman, Flash, and Aquaman showing up because they're all fine with everyone. Christian, what about you? The person who absolutely, I swear in our group chat, is just like, fuck this. 4 hours. I don't.
I was like, I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, especially extended. Like, I do not watch the theatrical of those films at all. It drove me up the wall because first they announced this as a 4-part miniseries. I'm like, okay. And then they backtrack and say it's going to be a 4-hour film. I'm like, all right. And then Deborah Snyder's like, well, the way I watch movies is, I'm like, Deborah, I don't give a flying fadoodle how you watch movies. I don't care. It doesn't make any sense. She's like, well, we don't want people to binge it. I'm like, okay, if you didn't want people to binge it, why is it a 4-hour film? But the runtime did not bug me whatsoever. I thought it was paced brilliantly. It's just best
paced film. Honestly, I think this is.
I think so for sure.
Yeah. It's like I love Watchmen, but like that 3.5 hour cut. It does get long.
Slow drag for sure. But it's like Zach doesn't know how to make short movies, and it's like, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But I feel like Warner Brothers has dug themselves into another hole because everything that happened with the 2017 version of Justice League, you get negative reaction, and now I don't think they expected this to do as well as it is, performing. And it's like, okay, well, you dug yourself into another hole by saying, hey, well, this isn't even canon. We're just going to let him do his thing. Like, Zach only cares about 2 people, or his fan base, like loving the film, and for his daughter, his late daughter. Those are the only 2 people that he really cares about for, this film. But it's like Warner Brothers is, I don't there's no roadmap. Like with Marvel, I hate making the comparison because I'm trying not to compare the MCU to DCU anymore. But like, can they just be more transparent with a lot of stuff? Like,
no, I agree with you, and I say it after every fucking time I see a DCU film and I review it. I say I enjoyed it, but guess what? I don't know if I'm gonna get a sequel. I said it was Shazam. Exactly. I love Shazam to pieces, but I didn't know if I was gonna get a sequel. There's never plans, and the only time they did plans, they never stuck to it. It's okay to compare it because these are 2 universes that we want success for both. But Marvel is very transparent. They say their schedule, and they very much stick to it. Besides Inhumans, that was like the one thing they were like, Okay, we're never going to talk about that again. But just all I want is what movies are coming out, when are they coming out, let's make plans for them, and let's do them. You know, they've said that they're doing this whole multiverse, and I think DC fandom was awesome. Was really cool how they did that.
This year.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
They didn't really go into much detail, and like they just said, "Oh, we're doing the multiverse type thing. Like it's going to be completely different universes. Earth 1, this is Earth." Cool. Mm-hmm. But I want that definitive thing. Like I want okay, like Birds of Prey. You know, we're planning this, and that if there's success, and then there goes Superman again. And that's what I was like wanting from this world, but we didn't we never get that. So it's okay to be frustrated. I 100% understand your frustration, Christian, is that we deserve that. We as fans, like Our Man. I don't
you have so many other problems. Focus on your big properties
right
first.
there.
Green Lantern.
Blue Beetle. I like Blue Beetle. I like it. I like where they're doing it. But I've never in my fucking life heard Our Man.
What is this we're doing like Titan season 3 and like a new reboot?
Our Man.
And it's like
Our Man is someone who's now in Supergirl. I know, not Supergirl. I'm sorry, Stargirl. I know Leo is watching Stargirl. He's someone who has this like hourglass, and he can have superpowers or just super strength, specifically, if I'm not mistaken, for 1 hour. So he can only have powers for one half of the movie.
Yep. I can actually make an interesting concept, but that's still kind of lame at the same time.
Honestly, that sounds better as a show. I would rather see that on HBO Max, directed by or written by the guy who did the Watchmen show.
He already has a show. He's on Stargirl.
But Stargirl's no.
Hold on, Stargirl, right?
No, I'm DCW.
Is that a CW show?
No,
yes.
No,
it's
it's like by the CW, but it's not like connected to the Arrowverse, right? It's like something weird. It's not.
No, it's the other way around. It's an HBO Max show, but it airs on the CW. But it's kind of like Superman and Lois. It has more of that HBO Max feel. A teen show on HBO, but still an HBO Max feel.
Okay. It lost me. Brian, give us 4 hour. What was your least favorite scene? Type of stuff like that. Do you think we'll see more?
Least favorite scene, probably the nightmare scene, because of how it's inserted in this film. Like, I like that scene in isolation, but I hate how it's just, Bruce Wayne was having this random dream as he was having a nap in the afternoon for some reason. He smoked a joint and then fell asleep on his bed. Awesome bed, by the way. No, but look, just like I didn't believe we would ever see the Snyder Cut, and they proved me wrong, and I'm happy that they did, I don't believe we will be able to restore the Snyderverse. You know what? Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, and I'll be happy to be proved wrong. Apart from that, like the jokes from The Flash didn't work. Even though I love the concept that he has ADHD, because ADHD is just your brain working super fast, and of course the Flash will have ADHD. But apart from that, again, I don't believe it. Prove me wrong, man. I want to be wrong. Restore the Snyderverse. Give us Zack Snyder's Injustice Gods Among Us.
Absolutely, man.
Yes, dude.
And that's my thing. I love Snyder's visions. I love to really like almost all of his films. There's like one film I don't like, and I can just throw it on the background. He's a visionary director. Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but I hate it. I like it. It's fun. But,
I love Sucker Punch.
But definitely his Owl movie, man, underrated.
Good.
I'm happy that Snyder got this, and I think just kind of ending. This is going to be our conclusion before we kind of jump in the chat for a bit. The conclusion for me is I'm so happy Zack got to finish this. I think it was very much a remedy for him. You know, he went through such a hard time with not just Warner Brothers, but the death of a family member, and someone that really and when you read everything for Autumn, you know, Autumn was one of the few people in his life that really loved the mythology building, which is something that Zack is huge in, and that's what I love. I love mythology building. I love when the DC dives into that, because the way I look at DC is about gods and being dissected and becoming humans in a sense. Where Marvel, it's about humans becoming gods in a sense. and wanting to make themselves that. And growing up, I was more DC than Marvel, always with the comics and the shows and the movies. But, nowadays it's always Marvel, because that's the popular thing. I hope DC can get back on track. I really can. Like, I would love to see where we're getting 3 films a year from them, where we're getting, another Superman. And I know they're already talking about another Superman movie, but jeez, we'll talk about that later. But, I'm going to give my score. Everyone going around, kind of do a 10 out of 10, however you feel. I'm honestly going to give this. I think it's, as for me as a fan, I'm going to do a 10 out of 10. It was everything I wanted it to be. I have my nitpicks, but like the way I rate movies, it's by entertainment. I was entertained. I loved it. I have my nitpicks. No film's perfect besides Toy Story, and that's all I'll say from there. Amanda, what about you?
Yeah, just to because I saw a screenshot the other day. If anyone picked up on the AFSP billboard when I thought that was really cool. I just wanted to point that out if no one really saw it. It was really cool, and it was really emotional that moment, so that was great. But yeah, I had so much fun watching this. I am going to give it a 9.5 out of 10 just because of Mara's accent. I'm just going to throw her away. So I'm going to go that way. She was kind of in this movie. So
she's always
yeah. So I'm going to give 9.5 out of 10. I loved it. I'm probably going to watch it again today because you guys just pumped me up here. So I'm probably going to watch it. Yeah.
Awesome. Leo?
Another thing that I like that a lot of people didn't like. I thought Mira was fine, but I would give this an 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was really strong, way better than the 2017 version. Really liked it. Still don't think it's Infinity War in-game level, but hey, that's just me. But thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm gonna watch it again today as well. It'll be my second viewing, but really, really, really good. Really good.
Awesome. Chris?
I'd give it a 9.5 out of 10. Really happy with. I think Chris Stuckman said it best in his review, where sometimes as a critic you feel like you need to say a lot of negative things or just bring up some negatives, but at the end of the movie it's there's stuff I didn't like, but I was just happy to have gotten this version. I was just happy to actually have seen this. So 9.5 for me.
Yep. Christian?
So I'm going to stick to my B+, which equates to 86 out of 100. My biggest gripes, I do not like Ezra Miller as Flash whatsoever. I do not. I don't like his voice. I don't like to hear the guy talk at all. But it's just because I think we had Amanda on our podcast and she was saying that Ezra Miller, it felt like Ezra Miller was playing the Flash instead of Barry Allen playing the Flash. So it's I can totally see that. Yeah. And then the whole Mirror Reed thing, it's why? I don't know. But that's smaller. But it was mainly just Ezra. I was just it was way too hokey. It was just straight up corny. But that's pretty much what brought it down to B+ for me. Other than that, I enjoyed it. I'm thinking about watching it today, but I kind of want I saw it twice in one day. I'm that's a lot. So I'm do I just wait for the Blu-ray to come out? But I probably will just. I'm gonna be watching Titans today anyway. So season 2, I'm there.
All right, Ren. What about you, man? Rennie, Superman.
Soups, you there? Come on, man. We revived you, bro. Come on back.
Twice. 3 times now.
Okay, so
I'm going to come back in a black suit with an S.
I would die laughing if he did. All right, so I'm going to kind of go through. We did get some super chats. Thank you so much to Donnie. Thank you so much to Max Bolton. And, of course, thank you to Cody Leach for throwing some support in there. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Woo! Now, guys, I am going to kind of jump into the chat a bit until Superman shows up again. I don't know what's happening. He's getting pulled into a different dimension. If you guys really like superhero stuff, make sure to watch Invincible on Friday this week. It's really freaking good. It's awesome.
Really good.
Holy shit. I put it away. It's a mix between Archer and the Harley Quinn show, but with Superman in there. The animation is very archery, but the humor is Harley Quinn, a parody level of Superman, but also just really messed up.
Very messed up.
The first episode, I know me, Leo, and Christian have watched it, but I was sitting there, I was like, why is this rated R? Then the last 10 minutes.
Right.
So, kind of jumping into the chat real fast. Roz Fitness, is Zack Snyder's Justice League a commercial success? I would say at this point, with the social media and all that. I'm curious to see the numbers. We'll never see the numbers, but I want to see HBO Max or someone say something.
Are we going to get the numbers for how many people signed up for HBO Max? Because I know a lot of streaming services keep that stuff hush. Like, how many new subscribers have they gained since a new title has come out?
Yeah.
And how many people stick around?
Yeah.
So,
well, and they actually talked about Wonder Woman 84 like really bumping their numbers up. So hopefully this.
And I believe that.
Yeah.
So, all right, next one. I'm so mad at Warner's now. I think we all are. I think. Thank God, a lot of the people who were on part of that 2017's gone now, but for the most part, 1 out of 10 for me. You are insane. Anderson, how did you feel about Amber Heard's performance of Mara? We've kind of talked about it. No, I've been no.
It's like your performance is fine. This is like, why did you have to do the accent? It was just so out of like everything else she said. It was totally fine. It's just
she was beating some Steppenwolf ass though, so
she's cool as a character. It's just the accent really just
The
Can
armor
we get Amelia Clark recasted, please?
Did look awesome.
Please get Amelia Clark
if
recasted.
we get Amelia Clark, I'm all in.
Oh, I'm all in. I'm all in. Absolutely.
Superman is back.
It is the return of Superman.
Still no
Superman,
mustache.
kind of throw in your final thoughts.
Oh, my final thoughts.
score.
I didn't get to grade it. This is a very, very strong B plus. It's like Chris said and like Stuckman said, like there are sure nitpicky things that I was like, not so sure about that. But by the end of the day, like I had such a great time. I was so happy to see, no pun intended, these heroes made justice, and being given their justice, and having them in such a great story. And like Leo said, I didn't mind Mara's accent. Like it was a pretty good accent. It just bothers me that she doesn't have the accent in the other stuff. But yeah, man, this is such a strong movie. I was so happy with it, and it ends in such a strong note. Like I agree with you, Zach, that maybe the film should have ended when Superman opens his shirt. But Zack Snyder was very smart, man. He leaves that last scene like showing us where the rest of the film could go in Martian Manhunter. So now we're all here saying restore the Snyderverse, putting some pressure on WB. So that was very smart of him.
I did see someone in the chat put something, and they're like, the place that you could have put the nightmare scene is when Cyborg touches the box.
Yeah. That or when Cyborg is touching the box, maybe Bruce goes to check on him, and by touching him, he gets himself that vision. So that could have worked for sure.
I agree. I feel like he would have been able to segue that in there a little bit different if he was able to do more reshoots. Because really, he didn't even pay. From what I understand, he didn't pay Affleck, Leto, or any of them. They just all agreed to do it, which that just shows how great of a person Zach is. The fact that they are all like, yeah, we'll do it. Like, we'll do it in your backyard if we have to. We don't care. So, guys, that is going to be our Zack Snyder Justice League spoiler review and breakdown. I had a blast doing it with my Justice League. These are my 6 members. So we're going to kind of go through Superman. Start with you. Where can they find you at? What do you got coming up this week?
I do not know what I have a review for The Irregulars coming out on Netflix this Thursday, I believe. I'm watching the show right now. You can find me on Twitter and YouTube at RenGeekness. Please help me reach 3,000 subscribers. I'm almost there. And on Instagram, it's RenVieira93. It's more of a personal account, but I always post there whatever I'm watching, whenever I am watching it.
Awesome. Christian, what about you?
All right. So everyone can follow our podcast, Film Optics. That is Optics with an X. We are on every single podcast platform you can think of around the internet, minus SiriusXM, but we are working on that. Hopefully. But so we're going to be, covering Falcon and Winter Soldier week to week, and we have our Godzilla versus Kong hashtag Team Kong review. Hopefully, I think next week.
Get out, Leo. You're the minority.
I am, and I'm cool with that.
It's all good. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try to see Kong versus Godzilla in theaters. Make that like my first trip back to the theaters. So
I bought my ticket.
we have that and just other nerdy stuff. So it's good stuff.
Hell yeah, Chris. What about you? What do you got coming up?
You guys can find me at youtube.com/3cfilms. Nothing really popping right now in the news. Hoping Monday we get some announcement of this Snyderverse or even just the numbers in general. Something like that would be awesome. But whenever news is there,
You're still waiting for Toby and Andrew to be confirmed.
Oh
right?
man,
I'm just like I'm waiting for that opening skit you have when that finally happens.
I have one in
Can we all
mind.
be honest though? It's not gonna happen until the actual first trailer.
Oh yeah,
the first trailer will have
if they're even there.
like
yeah.
like I think they are.
I think so too, but after I got boner-fied, I don't know.
Were you guys surprised Mephisto didn't show
People
up?
really heard about that.
Yeah.
I'm hurt by that. Ralph Boner. I've literally like argued with that in my family. My dad thought it was funny as shit. He said that was the best part of WandaVision.
No. It's the perfect way to throw people off the set.
No.
Fuck you.
No.
Leo, what about you?
I was sad nothing happened with Dottie, but man, you guys can find me at youtube.com/geeklygoods. Coming up this week, we've got Invincible. I'll be dropping that tomorrow, and then I'll be doing a little Q&A session on Tuesday. Thank you guys for getting the channel to 2K subscribers. So a little thank you to you guys. And yeah, there's some more coming up. Irregulars is coming up this week as well. Can't wait to talk about it with you as well, Rin. I'm so excited to talk about it. But guys, follow me at Geekly Goods on YouTube and then at Leo Rydell on Twitter.
Hell yeah. Amanda, where can they find you at?
Yeah, you guys can find me over at AMX NDA Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. I am always arguing with Leo and Christian, so you can find me there. And you can check out my website, candidxcinema.com. I have all my reviews over there as well. And I'm going to probably do a DCU ranking either tomorrow or Tuesday on my YouTube channel over at Candid Cinema. So yeah.
Hell yeah. And you guys can, of course, find me over here at Zach Pope Reviews. I love talking movies, geeky stuff, all sorts of things. This week's weird. There's not much coming out. I know. So definitely got to catch up on some I saw that one. So I'll have a review for Nobody tomorrow. Nobody review tomorrow. South by Southwest reviews on my website. I got to write all those because I watched 4 of them. 2 of them are really good. And then after that, Godzilla vs. Kong, Warner Brothers. Where's my fucking screener, man?
Same.
My rep told me on the 29th is when they're giving them out, but I'm always last to get them, so maybe you guys will get them. That's what I heard.
But okay, I wanted
Hashtag Team Kong unites to get Chris's screener.
Team Godzilla, baby.
I will leave my new fucking job if I need to. Like, it is Godzilla versus Kong, man. I'll go see that thing at home and in theaters. I don't care. Like,
I'm thinking about foregoing the screener and just watching on the big screen for the first time because, like,
I don't have a choice here in the UK.
The reactions just came out. So
really,
shut up. I don't want to know.
Okay. But other than that, it's my birthday on Thursday, so I'll definitely have a video coming out for that. It'll be planning it. I saw Cody Leach did it. I did one last year for movies. My favorite movies throughout my entire year. I'm gonna be doing my favorite video games through every year that I've been alive. I started doing that though, and there's like, you recognize every year has at least like 7 games that you love. So I had to make some cuts and it was pretty tough. So, but thank you guys again so much for clicking on this. I really appreciate every single one of my Justice League members joining me. Please go subscribe to them if you're not already, because all of them do amazing content that I probably listen to. That's exactly what I do when I'm doing something else. Like, I have this person playing, then I'll go to the next person. I'll go to this person. It gets you hyped. So thank you guys so
much. He watches me when he's pooping.
Oh, absolutely. Every single time. And
Dookie Watch 2021.
That is where we're going to end it. Ren and Christian just ruined everything. They're kicked out of the Justice League. So, thank you guys. We're going to replace them with 2 other members next week. We're going to kill off Superman again. All sorts of things like that. Thank you guys, though. And of course, until